Say hello to Antoine Sanders. He killed Susan Midyett, all down in Pensacola, a little place near Pensacola, Florida, and he almost got away with it. When the cops showed up on the day after the murder, because they had a welfare check and called into their office, they went in, they found a 58-year-old woman who had diabetes, high blood pressure, and they just said, well, people like that just die. Luckily, her daughter did not let it go. Her daughter was the one who found that the computer was missing, the phone was missing. There was all sorts of weird activity on the computer, including how do I break into an iPhone or an Android in the search history. So the daughter helped break the murder of this guy, Antoine Sanders. Well, it turns out Antoine was not new to the burglary and murder game, at least not new to the burglary game. He'd been terrorizing this neighborhood. This victim only lived a few blocks from him. He'd been terrorizing this neighborhood for a very long time. When the cops finally found him, they figured out that within a few blocks, within a quarter mile of this house, he'd been stalking and kind of, figuring out the live and work patterns of older white women who lived near there. That way, he could go in and, go in and take their stuff with the least amount of risk, I suppose. But what we're going to see here in a minute is we're going to see that he wasn't just stalking white women, he was stalking and stealing from white families. But what I thought was really interesting about this news article you're looking at now and the video you're about to see is the willingness of the local media down there to say, yeah, this black guy was going around stalking these white women and these white families. It's amazing at how long it took the cops to kind of figure out what was really happening.
18-year-old man already in jail, now charged with murder, sexual battery, and burglary. Antoine Sanders is accused of raping and killing a 58-year-old woman found dead last February. DNA led deputies to Sanders. News 5's Bryant Clerkley joins us now live out front of Sanders' home on Arrowhead Road with more details. Bryant?
Yes, Roseanne, this is the home that 18-year-old Antoine Sanders used to live in, and he's accused of killing and raping 58-year-old Susan Midyett, who lived about 2 streets over, and deputies say that he stalked his victims, mostly white women. This is the mugshot of 18-year-old Antoine Sanders. Deputies accuse him of raping and strangling 58-year-old Susan Midyett, who lived on the next street over. Deputies say Sanders burglarized several other places in the area. One of those homes was Nick Bibbery's. He says the suspect stole his car full of music equipment last November.
I was running sound for Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival and volunteering my time to do that, and just loaded all of my gear up, and Antoine stole it all.
Investigators say Sanders would stalk his victims, mostly white women over the age of 50. Bibbery says that does not surprise him. He says he used to live next to Sanders, and he stole from him at his old house as well. He says Sanders would terrorize the neighborhood, especially the women.
We all had our suspicions, especially after our friend of mine, Tina Morrison, after he, threw a brick through her house and tried to assault her, it seemed like, and she luckily was, I have a gun in here, and he took off.
There's lots of different numbers floating around about interracial rape in this country. Well, we pretty much know this, that the rate of white on black rape is usually fewer than 10 per year. But the rate of black on white rape is in the thousands and thousands per year. That's why it was so weird when Toni Morrison, who was Obama's favorite novelist, that's President Obama, when she went to a paper in London, The Guardian in London, and reminded them that, the social justice system is so out of whack, I want to see a white man convicted for raping a black woman. Because apparently the only way any of this stuff could be out of whack is if there's this enormous amount of crime happening and white people are getting away with it, cops are ignoring it, women are not reporting it. That's how they roll. And we've seen a ton of stories, and just in the last few weeks, about a new thing. The new thing is let's not report black on white crime, because it's just a symptom of white racism, white fear, white fill in the blank that's always going around messing with black people for no reason whatsoever. So let's not report this crime anymore, because we all know that white people reporting on black criminality makes the black kids angry.